and welcome to another Paper Crafting Tuesday. Today I'm making a card using two different stamp sets. This one is from Hampton and it has a sticky back stencil, which is very cool, and also this stamp set by My Favorite Things. I have a piece of white cardstock that measures 3 by 5/8 by 4 and 7/8. I'm going to stamp the word fly, and for this I'm using My Favorite Things hybrid ink. This is black licorice. And I'm going to stamp right about here. On a separate piece of cardstock, white again, I'm going to stamp 3 different butterflies. And I am going to heat emboss this because I'm using a hybrid ink. It is possible, if I play my cards right, if I stamp rather quickly and not dry with the heat tool, I'll be fine. I actually am going to add the powder as I go. The placement of the butterflies does not really matter because I'm going to cut around each of them. So the heat embossing is going to make the coloring a lot easier. Let me heat set that. There you can see the embossing. I have one more thing to heat emboss. I've taken this stamp here from My Favorite Things stamp set, and these are great to create backgrounds for images and text. And I believe Denise has used those in previous make and take, and she used an ombre effect with mixing different colors on one of these stamps. But today I'm going to use it as a mask. So I have my stamp right there on an acrylic block, and I'm going to make sure that I have a lot of Versamark ink on this. And I'm going to stamp right over that fly word, which is cool because you can actually see where you're stamping. And I'm going to add the clear embossing powder over this. And so that way I will protect my word, and I'll be able to add some more stuff on it. Awesome. Now I'm going to proceed to the stenciling, and I'm using the stencil that comes with this stamp set by Hampton Vintology. And this one is pretty cool because it is actually sticky back and reusable. So I'm going to remove the backing sheet, try not to stretch the stencil too much. Put the stencil with the sticky back facing me, and then I'm going to center my card right over this. Now, I'm not trying to get an equal amount of honeycomb, but I want it to be as straight as possible. Okay. So this should make the next step a lot easier. I'm using 2 sprays, 2 Dilutions ink sprays, the Vibrant Turquoise and Fresh Lime. And I'm going to spray this randomly. I'm not thinking too much. And I like to have those uneven drops there. And I'm spraying over the sentiment, but it doesn't matter because we've actually protected it with the heat embossing, which is pretty cool. Now, before I go any further, I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper and pick up the leftover spray that I have on there. And look how cool this is. I can use this in another project. Now again, remove the stencil as gently as you can so as not to stretch it too much, because you want to reuse this over and over again. But it comes off very easily. Awesome. Now of course, don't discard the backing sheet that it came with. You just have to reposition it over it for storage. And then you'll keep your mask for a long time. I'm going to remove the excess spray that I have on here on my sentiment. Look how cool this is. So I'm gonna let this dry. In the meantime, I'm going to color the butterflies that I've previously embossed. To color the butterflies, I'm using my new favorite markers, which are the Clean Color by Zeg, because they are so fine tipped, and they're actually not markers but brushes. Let me just show you the fine tip that you have at the end here. Makes it for very precise coloring, which I absolutely love. Now I'm going to color only 2 of these butterflies. I'm going to start with this one here. And I'm kind of doing like a 2-tone effect. Now I'm going to add the pink. And because I have pattern inside the butterfly, I don't have to be too precise about blending. The small one here with the chevron, I'm just going to do with the magenta or the pink or fuchsia, whatever you want to call it. And I think I'm actually going to go in the middle of each of these butterflies with the gray brush pen. Nope, that's too light. I'm going to have to take the black one. I'm going to use a rag, a dry rag this time, and lift off some of the color that have stayed on the embossing. And now I can cut around these. I'm going to leave a white border as well. So I'm coming back with my background piece, and I'm thinking that it's not distressed enough for me. So I'm going to take a water bottle, hold it, and press halfway to create some drops. And that will remove some of the color, creating a nice distressed background. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that paper because it worked a little bit. Still not distressed enough. I'm going to zap it again. Let it sit for just a little bit. Love it. All right, so my piece is fully dry. As you can see, I have a lot of warping going on, and that is because I did not use a mixed media cardstock. I just used a regular, like, thin stamping paper, and that's not such a good idea. So I would recommend that you use mixed media paper, a paper or a cardstock that can take water very well, because we do spray and add water. Now, I'm not done with this. I want it a little bit more distressed, so I'm bringing in the Black Soot Distress ink and a distressing tool, which has lost its handle, but can still be used, and a sponge. I'm going to go very lightly. Now this is going to blend really well with the backing cardstock that I'm going to add to this, which is black. And you can go a little bit darker in the corners if you want to. So to mat this background, I've chosen a black cardstock, and it measures 3 3/4 by 5. Now, because my piece is warped, I'm going to make sure that I put a good amount of adhesive. For the card base, it's a white 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock that I have folded at 5 1/2. So I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to add this. I'm almost done. To glue the butterflies, I'm going to use some foam adhesives. And I'm going to put them just in the middle. So if I'm giving this card and not mailing it, I can actually pop the wings up a little bit, like so. And the last one. There we go. As a last touch, I thought of using some rhinestones, but I kind of like the black in there, and I want to put more. So I have those amazing, I love these. They're black pearls by Outlet, and I'm going to add them to the body of each butterflies. There we go, and we're done. I love the idea of having a stencil that's sticky back because it makes spraying a lot easier. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And to incorporate that with a stamp set, even better. I love the vibrant colors of this card. The black makes them pop, and of course I'm still in love with those clean color brushes. I think they just work beautifully. They flow really well, and the colors are also pretty awesome. So I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. As usual, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will see you on Friday.